Hello, it is Lauren Ohayon from Restore Your Core, and today I'm going to show you 3 exercises that you can use for prolapse. Before we get started, I just want to give a little bit of background about prolapse and these exercises. No one can tell you for sure what has caused most prolapses. For some people, if you have had a hysterectomy and then you have a prolapse, it's more you know more, or a vaginal birth with forceps, right? There are certain or vacuum. Um, there are definitely certain experiences that can lead to a prolapse. Pushing for hours, for example, and there are thousands of women who get a prolapse seemingly out of nowhere, or they had a birth and had a prolapse, but was it the birth? Was it the pregnancy? Was it, who knows? So it can be hard to know what caused your prolapse. And then it can also feel like you want to spot treat your pelvic floor to help relieve the pressure, the discomfort, the tightness that can come with a prolapse. And all of that makes sense. The issue is what can make a prolapse much, much more symptomatic. And for a lot of people, this feels like their prolapse gets worse. What can make it worse is what's called downward pressure. So if you are straining to make a bowel movement or pushing out a baby, you are doing what's like a bear down. Like I can bear down right now, just pushing down um, into the pelvic floor. And what people are doing all day long without realizing it is bearing down in their pelvic floor, but it doesn't feel like strain because it's so normal to them. Right? So when we adopt a pattern that becomes very normal to us, we no longer feel it. Like when you walk into a room and it smells like banana bread, and then 5 minutes later, you can't smell that anymore, but you know the smell is still there. The smell did not go away. Your body got used to it. We do that all day long with patterns in our body. That's why people can be very asymmetric in their body, but it doesn't feel that way to them. Um, with prolapse, a lot of the people I assess are bearing down all the time, but it doesn't feel like pushing out a baby. It's just this constant straining downward, and they don't notice it because it's normal to them. So we are going to address pressure with these 3 exercises. Having you lie down on your floor and just do something like Kegels is literally the same thing as me saying, oh, your neck and jaw hurt. Let's just squeeze and tighten everything up. This isn't a spot treatment. It doesn't necessarily help. Along with prolapse, a lot of people are very tight because what their body starts to do in response to all the pressure downward is it starts to pull up and tighten and tighten and tighten. So a lot of people with a prolapse also have a very tight pelvic floor, which is actually where a lot of the discomfort comes from. It doesn't necessarily come from the prolapse itself. It comes from the tightness of the gripping of trying to keep things in. The fear that something might fall out causes us to tighten even more. So these exercises are really designed to help you with the downward pressure. Exercise number 1 is breathing, right? So you can try it right now. To put your hands around your ribs, exhale, pull your ribs in, pull, 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 and push down, push down, push down, push down. You feel like you are straining. So it is very possible that without meaning to, you are straining in your pelvic floor, downward pressure because of a breathing pattern. So I'm going to teach you a breathing pattern that puts much less pressure on the pelvic floor, but it's also really how our ribs and spine and diaphragm, which is the breathing muscle, are designed to work. Okay, so let's sit down for this. Find a seated position. I'm going to sit on the corner just so maybe it's easier to see me. Sit up nice and tall, so no slouching back, but also try not to sit with your ribs pulled forward like this. Okay, so just try to find a stacking of your ribs over your pelvis. Place your hands around your rib cage, close your eyes, and just think about as you breathe without strain, you want to feel your ribs opening up. So they're going to open out to the sides And then you're just going to exhale and release that. But as you release that, don't push and bear down, just softly release. So if I were to exaggerate what your ribs are doing and show you, just do a little exaggeration here, they should be opening wide. However, when you do this breathing technique, I don't want you forcing them. So I don't want it to be this at all. When I breathe into my ribs, watch me do it, it's very calm and relaxed. That was an inhale into my ribs, so it's not forced and strained. My demonstration was just to show you that the ribs should move, because a lot of people don't move their ribs and they belly breathe. And when you belly breathe, you put all that pressure into your pelvic floor. That's just physics. You can't change physics. So we want to get out of this constant belly breathing pattern that people have. Really learn to breathe with your rib cage. You want to practice this daily. So I would say set a timer for 3 minutes in the morning and a timer for 3 minutes every evening. It's only 6 minutes a day, where you're really trying to teach your body to reduce pressure just through breath, which will become all day long breathing if you practice it a lot. The next exercise is really to begin to strengthen and open the back of the legs. The thing about the prolapse is that pelvic positioning actually really matters. So if you have a pelvis that's really tipped forward or really tucked under or very tight hamstrings or even very mobile hamstrings, it can really affect your pelvic positioning, which could make it harder for your prolapse to heal, because it's harder than for your pelvic floor to reflexively support you, which it's designed to do. So you don't need your stool. You can move it to the side. You're going to stand with your knees very slightly bent, and you're going to keep your spine quite straight. And all you're going to do is bend forward from your hips like this. So we're not doing this. We're not rounding our back, right? So again, we're trying to bend forward from the hips. And then you're going to make sure that your bum is not pulled underneath you. You're going to, as if, straighten your legs but don't. Feel like you can straighten your legs but don't. And then use that tension in the back of the legs to rise up. So we're stretching and tensioning the back of the legs, which is really perfect. You can do it just like that. But I would also love you to do it in a split leg stance with your back heel off the floor, but it can be on the floor as well, either way. So once again, as you do that, you come down, you stay. You push as if you want to straighten your front leg. So you as if straighten it, but you don't. So you really fire up the muscles, and then you rise back up. Do 8 to 10 of either variation, although both variations would be fantastic. And this is again to lengthen and strengthen the hamstrings, and inner thighs, which directly lead right into your pelvic floor and help keep pelvic positioning so there's not too much tension on the pelvis, and your pelvic floor muscles can then work reflexively. Okay, so those two exercises. The final exercise is to get your core acting reflexively, responsively, because the core, when it engages, it will pull the pelvic floor with it. It will lift the pelvic floor. So instead of you tightening and squeezing and lifting your pelvic floor, you don't have to do that. Let your core do the work. And with this training, because your core is designed to do this all day long, when you bend over, when you lift up, when you reach over, when you go, every time you move, your core is designed to either give or contract. So contract or release a little bit. For a lot of people, their core is just kind of a tight. It's really tight. So with this type of training, you're training your pelvic floor and your core to work together as one unit, but you're not tightening your pelvic floor. It's coming along for the ride. Okay, so very simple move. If you do my 12-week program, or you're looking at my 12-week program, the entire program is like 100 more exercises just like this, building and progressing. So we start really, really slow here, and I want you to start slow with your body. I want you to put one hand on your abdominal area, your belly. How about your right hand? And then take your left hand out to the side. And imagine now that I've put a coconut in it. So it's heavy. Your arm is heavy. It's like pulling down, but you're lifting it up. And I want you to exhale. Blow out 100 birthday candles and side bend. And I want you to feel, do your abdominals tighten and push out? Or do they tighten and you can feel them pulling in as you blow the candles? So what it's not is tighten and then blow your candles. It's blow the candles and feel how the candles blowing engages the core, and you can maintain that as you side bend. If you've noticed that you're bearing down and pushing out and the abs are hardening and pushing out but not corseting in, that's a great awareness. We actually want them more corseting in, but it's great to notice what your pattern is, because it means that every time you move throughout the day, lifting things, pushing, pulling, you're probably bearing down. And while that might not be what you consider a good thing, the awareness to it is exactly how you begin to change it. So those are your 3 exercises. Breathing to reduce pressure. Hamstrings and glutes, one of the best ways into your pelvic floor. Core engagement, reduce pressure. Teach your pelvic floor to lift naturally along with your core. And if you want this and a lot more exercises that will train your pelvic floor and your core to respond together, definitely check out my 12-week Restore Your Core Lifetime Access program. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it's been helpful.